Hello everyone and welcome to yet another phone review. This time we're reviewing the infamous UMi Zero. Now before I'm opening the box, you can see the box right here in front of us. Before I'm going to open it, I've got to tell you something about the store I bought this in. As most of you probably know, the UMi Zero has just been released. And the thing is, I knew someone who needed a phone. I suggested them a few models and they chose the Zero. The problem was that the Zero wasn't out back then. So he said, it doesn't matter, I need the phone soon, but I can wait a week or something. The store I eventually bought this in, it's called Come By. I'll put it in the description of the video. They said they would have the phone in stock and shipped by December 10th. So I thought, wow, that's amazing. That's pretty good. Back then that was in 5 days. So I thought I can wait that long and I ordered it there. Now the 10th of December came to pass and no phone was sent. So I sent them a mail, what's up? No answer for 3 days. After 3 days they told me the phone hasn't come in from the factory yet, blah blah blah, a lot of that. Now the Facebook page of UMi that day then announced that they were going to ship the phone from the factories December 16th. So it wasn't even possible that Come By would get the phone at that date, at the 10th of December. So I sent them an email saying that, and they didn't answer that one. They just left it hanging. I sent them a few angry mails after that, and most of the time I just got a standardized response, sorry for the inconvenience, you know, that kind of stuff. Eventually they got the phone. They got the phone on December 23rd. That's 13 days after they promised they would have the phone. And they shipped it then. Now, while I got the phone, and the phone is legit, there's nothing, it's not fake or anything, but I mean that's a pretty shitty tactic to use. So while I can say that you can trust them to buy your phones, I wouldn't recommend it because they use tactics that aren't very morally justified. I mean they give false release dates so they can say that they are the first to ship a phone while it's impossible to do so. So keep that in mind before you buy anything from them. Just a heads up. And now with that unpleasant business out of the way, we can go on with the review. You can see that I'm having the box in front of me instead of the phone itself. Well, that's because the box is pretty nice. You can also see that it's big. It's bigger than usual and than boxes of Chinese phones usually are. But there's been put a lot of work, or at least some work, into this box, so I was going to show it. So we see on the outside we've got the Zero brand name. On the back it has the specs and everything. It has the UMi logo right over here. Right here we got the specs over here. Android 4.4, 5-inch Super AMOLED screen. That's really nice. We're going to see that later. The other specs look alright. So let's open this one up. There we go. Put this to the side. Over here first we have the charger, which is a quick charger, similar to the Oppo Find 7. And over here we have the data cable. And then over here we have one of the first special things. This is the Z case. Now this is a plastic case which you can put around the phone to protect it from fall damage, because you know the back is made out of glass too. So it's pretty handy that this comes in the box, but I would suggest getting another case, a bigger case, a full cover case instead of just this Z thing. But it's pretty nice to use if you just got the phone and want to show it off a bit. It's a bit flashy, but yeah, I can appreciate that. So let's get rid of that as well. Now over here we got a screen protector. And there's the phone. There we go. Now here we got a user manual, and here's a pin for getting out the SIM tray. Just put that back. And yeah, you see it's a pretty big box, but there's not a whole lot in it. But it's nice to see some attention to detail for once. Now here we got the phone. You can see it has some nice design choices, But we're going to talk about the design right now. So let's go. So going on with the design. We'll just go over all the details one by one, and then I'll talk a bit about it in its entirety. So let's start here at the front. We got a single pane of glass with the speaker here, the front-facing camera over here, capacitive buttons, which aren't light up, and you know the nice Super AMOLED screen. It's turned off right now. I'm going to turn it on in a few seconds. I'm leaving the plastic on because I still have to sell it to someone, and it's nicer to have it in mint condition, you know, than have someone's greasy fingerprints all over your screen. You know, here we have the back, which is made out of which is a nice pane of Gorilla Glass as well. Here we have the speaker, which is a little small, but it gives decent sound. UMi logo, Zero right here. Right here we have some explanation, blah blah. The back camera right here, dual flash. So that's good. Let's go to the sides. Here up top we have the data cable, the USB slot. Right here we have the SIM tray, if you can see it correctly. It holds 2 SIM cards, or 1 SIM card and 1 micro SD card. You open it up with the pin we've seen not too long ago. On this side we have the volume buttons and the power button. It's positioned at the left side of the device. And over here we have the audio jack and the microphone. So yeah, that's pretty much all the physical aspects of it. So let's see. I'm personally not a fan of the fact that both the volume buttons and the power button are positioned on the left side. Not just because of the fact that they're not on both sides, but when you're left-handed, now I'm not left-handed, but I can imagine that it gets pretty annoying because they're protruding a bit, if you can see. Well, quite a bit, actually. So I think you're prone to accidental presses with these buttons. I mean, they're protruding and they're both on one side. I don't know, it just seems weird to me. So let's see what else. Well, there's not much to... It's a great looking phone. I mean, that's one of the main selling points of this phone was that it had a super body design, as advertised by UMi itself. Now that super body was because while you have a pane of glass in the front, pane of glass in the back, it's metal all around. Right here, there's not a single piece of plastic anywhere on this on the outside. So I guess that's pretty nice. It's also really thin. It's the thinnest octa-core phone available, if I'm not mistaken. Or the information I have gotten must be outdated. But, you know, it is pretty thin. It's thinner than my Oppo Find 7a. I'm always comparing most phones to that because that's a pretty expensive phone. But yeah, that's pretty nice. I personally don't really care about how thin a phone is. But this one is thin and it's a little heavy in the hand. Not in a bad way, in a good way. It feels like you have a meaningful piece of gear in your hand, not just some plastic thingy. Now, that's mostly it for the design. It's a very nice original design, which I always like. Original designs coming from China phones. So next we're going to talk about the UI a bit. We'll just go and unlock it right here. Boom. And just get the focus right. There. So, yeah. First thing we see is that there are some extra options here on the unlock screen. We've got phone here, camera here, messages here, and unlock down there. Yeah, camera was turned on. So yeah, first we got the home screen right here. It's a pretty stock 4.4 screen. We've seen they made some touches, like right here. You've got the UMi logo. But apart from that, it's pretty much stock. So if we see the notification screen, and right here we can already see the amazing power of AMOLED. Maybe it doesn't show up that well on the camera, but right here it's almost indistinguishable. Like the black from the notification bar here and the black from the phone right there. You can almost not see the difference, and the difference that's there is because of refracted light, of reflected light instead of light from the screen. When your room is dark and the screen is lit up, you literally can't see the difference between black on screen and black off screen, which is, well, that's the main selling point of an AMOLED screen, but it's pretty nice. I had never really worked with an AMOLED screen before this, and I was pleasantly surprised. It's weird how noticeable it is after a while when you compare it to a phone without an AMOLED screen. But yeah, let's go on. Yeah, we have the setting page right there. You know, it's classic 4.4. You can put some widgets, wallpapers, or you can go straight to the settings. Let's go to the settings ones. Right over here, we can see we can see the Sim Toolkit, Wi-Fi, you know, the regular settings, power saving. It's got some nice power saving features. When you turn on ultra power saving mode, the screen goes to black and white. It deactivates some applications. You know, you can really get some time out of those last 5 or 4% of battery that you got. Let's see some other applications. Well, we got the gallery application right here. It's pretty straightforward, you know, the normal stuff. It's got, again, a really stock Android feel, which is good most of the time because, well, sometimes, you know, those custom Chinese ROMs, they aren't that user-friendly. So I'm glad that UMi decided to stick with stock 4.4 UI on this one. We've already talked about the AMOLED screen. Well, one of the few niggles I have with this phone is that there's no notification LED. Now, I count that as part of UI as well because, well, it helps you to know, you know, when you get a notification or anything. It doesn't have that. Now, I installed an application that makes it so the capacitive touch buttons light up when you get a notification, but that, you know, that's just a fix. That's not a real solution to the problem. It's just a quick fix. I would have really liked a notification LED. It's a very useful part of a smartphone. So yeah, that's pretty much the UI. I don't think there's much more to show. We can go look at the camera app, but yet again, it's very stock, you know, with the buttons right here, settings over here. I don't think there's a lot that you wouldn't know on this phone. So let's go on with the performance. Well, the performance is pretty good. It's got the MTK 6592 Turbo processor. Let's just open up CPU-Z real quick so we can check that out. Well, we can see here 6592, 2 GHz, so that means it's the turbo version. Most of the cores are stopped now because I'm not doing anything. Let's go on. We can see UMi Zero right here. Blah blah. The build, the number, everything. 4.4. Full HD screen. That's wrong again. I think that's always wrong. Oh, root access. So it comes out of the box rooted, which has its, you know, it has benefits, but it also has its downsides, which I'll talk about later. But yeah, so if you're into, you know, tinkering with your phone, you might be glad to hear that. Right here we got some stats over here. Right, that's not, we can look at sensors. It's got most sensors, but we can see that in Antutu, which we're going to next. Right over here. Open it up. Now that's a non-verified score. I think that was because I wasn't connected to the internet when I took it. Now I am, so let's see. I'm just gonna test again and we'll see what comes out. let's see here. Wow, the UMi got 32,636. Let's just see what's wrong with my focus right here. Yeah, got locked. So once again, like the previous phone I reviewed, it's right above the HTC One, right below the LG G3. Hopefully the score is verified this time. There we go. So we can know it's a legit score, and it's pretty good. But since benchmarks don't say everything, let's just test the game. Let's just skip the Fruit Ninja this time and go straight to Asphalt, which is, you know, one of the most intensive, graphic intensive games on the App Store. So let's just play the first level. Yeah. And next. Okay, there we go. I gotta say that the phone gets a bit warm. Not hot, but you know, a bit of warm in the back. Most phones do that, so it's not really a problem. Oh yeah, we see it handles pretty well. Oh, went off screen there for a bit. I'm getting a nice frame rate. So yeah, it doesn't get much better than this. Again, we're playing at full HD, medium graphics. You can go to high graphics and it's still playable, but know that it doesn't change much. I know that's probably more for Snapdragon processors with stronger graphical chips. I'm not saying that this one is bad, but you know, it's always going to be a little worse than the Snapdragon ones. So yeah, I think that's enough of this one. We can see that we're getting a nice stable frame rate, or something around 30 frames per second. So yeah. Go back to the main screen. We've seen now that the CPU can take quite a bit, that it performs well. So let's go on with some of the features, some of the stuff I like, some of the stuff I don't like. Now, one of the first things that I'm going to tell about this phone is that the features that it advertises the most don't really work. So, whoops, what was that? Let's check it out. We're going to the settings, which are located right here. And we're going down, and then we can see two things here. First is smart screen, and then there's air gesture. Now you can see air gesture is turned off, and that's for good reason. First, I'm going to talk about the smart screen thing. That's when you have a video going and you're looking at your screen, and when you're looking away, the video should stop. Well, I didn't get it to work. Sometimes I was looking at the screen and it suddenly said, whoa, you're not looking at the screen anymore, pausing the video. Well, I didn't look away, and sometimes I looked away for 10 seconds, and after the 6th second only, it realized I wasn't looking anymore, and it turned the screen off. So that doesn't always work, but air gesture is by far the worst in my experience. I'm going to turn it on. We're going to see if the thing that has always happened up until now happens again. So I'm turning it on, and now we're going back to the UI, and there we have it. You see that something happened to the UI, which makes it slow as, I don't know, I want to use some profane word here, but I'm not going to do it. But you can see it turns to some 10 frame per second slideshow of a home screen instead of a normal home screen. And also the air gesture, which should work like this then, it doesn't always choose the right side to go to. As you can see, I'm moving to both sides right now, and it's sliding the screen to the same side every single time. So that doesn't work at all. It even makes the system worse. It's not that it just doesn't work, but it breaks your system. The first time I tried it, I didn't know that was causing it, so I did a factory reset and I turned the phone back on, and the same problem persisted. So I kept on looking and I saw that the air gesture was on by default. When I turned it off, it went away and the UI became fluid again. So unless there's going to be an update, don't use the air gestures because they're just useless. You can see I'm moving to both sides here, and it's always sliding to the very same side, and it's doing so at a turtle space. You can see it's almost unusable. The difference is really noticeable now. If I'm going to turn it off and we're going back to the home screen, you can see it's fluid again. So that's just too bad. That just I don't know how this made it through quality control, but that's a really bad part of the phone. Really bad feature. Also, the air gestures don't work in the gallery or in the music app or anything like that. So keep that in mind. Now, it's not that you're always using air gestures. I have it on my phone. My sister has it on her phone. We never use it because, well, after a while it just becomes a gimmick. And it's much easier to just swipe your phone across the screen than, you know, swipe your hand over it. Now, I'll show you some camera samples while I'm talking about the rest here. Because, well, the camera's pretty good. The camera is nice, it takes good pictures in full sunlight. The pictures come out really, really well. The filming is okay too. Nothing special at the camera. There's something weird. I'm going to show you the camera app right now. Oh, don't flip that around. Or go into the settings of the camera, and then, oh, go here. You can see, you know, it's set to 20 megapixels, which is a little out of their league. Even the box says that the camera only has a 13 megapixel camera. So I don't know, maybe it's interpolated, but yeah, that's not true. It only goes to 13 megapixels. Now one more feature / niggle that I have with it is the fact that I mentioned this earlier, that it comes rooted out of the box. So we can see SuperUser is installed right here. And it's nice, you know, if you want to tinker with the phone, but one big downside that it has is that it disables wireless updates. So you won't be getting any wireless updates for this phone, well, any over-the-air updates. It doesn't have the wireless update app or anything. So whenever you want to update, you're going to have to do it manually, which is too bad actually. I really like an over-the-air update feature, and it's too bad that it has to go away because of out-of-the-box root, which is nice. I'm not going to say that it isn't nice. I appreciate when it happens, but the problem is this phone isn't for me, it's for someone else who probably isn't going to tinker with his phone and would probably much more benefit from an over-the-air updating system than a root on his phone. So that's one downside, but yeah, that's mostly what I want to say about this phone. So for the rest, you know, since at first the phone costed $300, which was a little too much in my eyes because it doesn't have any LTE, it doesn't have any, you know, fancy other features apart from the Super AMOLED screen. At the start I thought this phone was too expensive, but then they announced a price drop. It was going to cost $200, which equates to, I paid for it at Come-By with shipping and custom duty guarantee. I always guaranteed that when I had custom duty costs, Come-By would reimburse them all, which is nice, but I didn't have them, so I didn't get a chance to test that out. But with that, all that included, it was a 176 euros, which is a pretty nice price for a phone like this. Well, since that price reduction, I think this phone is really worth the price. So It's also very rare for a China phone to have this kind of, this kind of premium feel that the UMi Zero has. So it feels really heavy. It feels really strong. I don't think you'll have to drop it from a high place before this thing gets dented. I don't know about the glass. I'm not about to test it out, but it's Gorilla Glass, so I don't think it's going to break by the touch of a finger or anything. You'll have to exert quite some force to break any glass pane on this thing. The UI is nice, and most of all, UMi promised there would be custom ROM support for this phone. So there would be a lot of custom ROM support to this CyanogenMod mod, most probably some other famous ones. MIUI has already been ported, but that's always within the week. So apart from that, yeah, I mean, this is shaping up to be a great phone. Maybe with some updates to the air gesture thing and such, this will be a great phone. I think I can recommend this phone. I think I can tell you if you want to buy it, if you like the design, if you like the Super AMOLED screen especially, then I can say go for it. There's no breaking stuff about this phone. There's no stuff that can make you say like, no, don't buy it, it sucks. No, it's good. It's got good music quality too. I can't show that on the video, but it's decent. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So UMi Zero, buy it or don't. If you like the video, be sure to let me know. I'm not gonna say you have to subscribe or anything, but if you want to, you can always do that. So until the next phone review, see you.